Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Scattered throughout the world are hundreds of man-made monuments, designed and built to serve but one purpose: to thrill.
I think rides are getting faster, they're getting higher, longer. They just keep getting wilder.
The general public, they want the latest in innovative technology. They want the hottest thing that they can go do.
New coasters are being built at record pace, and people are going out and experiencing the thrill of these rides and loving every minute of it.
Among these mammoth creations of wood and steel, there are a select few that stand apart. Machines with names like Mantis, Phoenix, Raptor, Master Blaster, and Zeus. So hop on board and scream along as we search the world over and discover the ultimate wild ride. Today, there are nearly 1,000 roller coasters operating throughout the world. But not all of these wild rides are created equal. The true coaster aficionado with a refined palate for thrills is constantly seeking the best of the best.
For me, it's looking at a coaster and understanding its design and just understanding the ingenious thought that goes behind creating it.
We enjoy that thrill of being on the edge, of being scared out of our wits, going for a good ride, but it's all in fun, and it's all for just a thrill, really.
And today, amusement parks are utilizing Cold War strategies to lure the enthusiast with even bigger and better wild rides.
There is definitely like an arms race among amusement parks in building roller coasters, and computer-aided design technology is pushing the limits as to what we can do with rides. With steel coasters, you've got suspended, you've got inverted, you've got stand-up, doing heartline spirals, so things that you definitely couldn't do years ago are happening today.
To an enthusiast, that means the war is on, basically. Next year, there may be something bigger and faster. The following year, somebody's going to want to try to beat that one. So it just never stops. They get bigger and faster every single year.
One recent example of this escalation involves 4 rides created by Swiss manufacturer Bolliger and Mabillard. In 1992, their Batman the Ride opened at the Six Flags theme park in Gurnee, Illinois. It marked the debut of the world's first inverted coaster, where riders are suspended from an overhead track.
Claude Mabillard and Walter Bolliger have taken the roller coaster experience to a whole new level with the introduction of the inverted coaster. You never had a full inverted coaster that hung from the track in these ski lift type chairs. Their rides are engineered excellent. They're just very clean running, smooth rides.
The revolutionary design had the amusement park industry scrambling to cash in on the excitement. Just 2 years later, Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, upped the ante when it unveiled Raptor. Taller, faster, and steeper than Batman, this inverted coaster also featured a new and exhilarating design element: the dual Cobra roll, which turned riders upside down twice. Raptor reigned supreme until 1996, when Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay, Florida, unleashed their perfect beast, Montu. Montu delivered an incredible 3.85 Gs, a 104-foot vertical loop, and the world's very first inverted diving loop, dubbed the Immelman, after a World War I fighter pilot.
I moved here from Virginia because of this ride, because I love roller coasters. This is a wild ride. It is the wildest one I've ever been on. It throws you and tosses you every which way at speeds of over 65 miles per hour. It's very unique what they've done to this design of roller coaster. Different inversions, different loops, underground, through ditches. It's the ultimate.
But for many fans, Montu wasn't the ultimate for long. Less than a year after it debuted, Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia, unveiled Alpengeist, the latest to top the list for being the biggest, highest, longest inverted coaster in the world.
We think one of the things that Alpengeist has that makes it a little different from everything else, as well as being fast and having a 195-foot lift and a 106-foot vertical loop, it has a lot of personality. The way it's been designed, where elements allow you a little bit of anticipation before you get into them, or all add to a fun, thrilling ride experience.
One of the latest big guns to enter the coaster wars is called Mantis. This extraordinary stand-up experience first debuted at Cedar Point in 1996.
I think the best aspect of the Mantis is that you're standing up the whole ride. You're standing straight up. It's great. It's just so different. You don't get that from any of the other 11 roller coasters here, and it's a lot of fun.
Like the inverted coaster, the idea for a stand-up ride came from the fertile minds of inventors Bolliger and Mabillard, who wanted to push the envelope of wild rides even further. Mantis riders straddle bicycle-like seats and are securely restrained by padded torso harnesses.
Cedar Point has more roller coasters than any amusement park in the world.
Coaster enthusiasts like Alan Schick have been stepping up to the challenge of Mantis in record numbers.
Just about at the top of the hill now. Here we go. Woo! Get ready to drop. Here we drop. Go. Whoa! Dropping into the corkscrew. Woo! That's a ride on the Mantis.
But Mantis couldn't hold its ground forever. The war raged on. In 1998, Six Flags Magic Mountain in Los Angeles blasted away the competition with Riddler's Revenge. It broke all previous stand-up coaster records for speed, number of inverted loops, and ride duration. But like those who came before it, the outstanding achievements of Riddler's Revenge will eventually be eclipsed. washed aside by the next wave of record-breaking wild rides.
Enthusiasts benefit from the coaster war because we get bigger rides every year, faster rides every year, and it gives us something to do and look forward to all winter long. Knowing that another park has announced a new ride for next year, and then after we ride that, somebody announces something bigger and better, and we go out there and ride that one.
We will read. What does it take to make the A-list in the world of wild rides? Well, that all depends on who you ask.
A wild ride to me is as many loops as possible and as fast as possible.
A great wild ride has to throw you out of the seat. Your legs have to hit the seatbelt, or else it's not a good ride.
I think I'd just say, surprise me. That's it, surprise. The unknown.
Whatever the particular reasons, everyone agrees that above all, a wild ride must be wild. But not all of the coasters that lead the pack are modern creations of steel. Many of the world's wildest rides are made of wood.
I think a wooden ride, you get the feel of a classic older ride. One of the best things about it is the freedom of movement. You're in a lower car that gives you a little more chance to move around and see what's happening. The wood coasters also give a little bit when you ride, so you feel a little bit, I don't know if rickety is the right term, but you feel a little bit looser than on a steel coaster, which is very steady.
The Wildcat at Pennsylvania's Hershey Park has been rated among the top 10 wild rides in the world. Designed by Great Coasters and built in 1996, it is a labyrinth of 514,000 board feet of southern yellow pine.
The design of this coaster with its constant turns and twists is just awesome to look at. All the struts and supports that go into this ride and causes an exciting appearance that might be construed as frightful by some.
The Wildcat is a modern-day version of a coaster commonly known as a twister.
Hi, I'm Gino Torrey, and I'm here at Hershey Park riding the Wildcat. We're now on the 90-foot ascent to the wildest ride on the East Coast. The anticipation it builds up during this time is fantastic. But we're about ready to go over the hill to an 85-foot drop, which will reach us speeds of over 45 miles per hour. Here we go. We're over one time. We're going around, coming up on our second time across the ride. There's not a level spot on this ride. It's fantastic. This ride takes you through positive G-forces, negative G-forces. You're either in or out of your seat. It's a fantastic experience. Constantly turning and twisting. The final curve here takes us back into the home stretch. Here we go. Back into the home area. The Wildcat. The technology that is needed to develop a coaster like this, I don't believe existed 10, 15 years ago.
Portions of its 3,200 feet of track bank in excess of 56 degrees, subjecting passengers to an amazing 3.5 Gs. Enough force, some say, to make your eyes pop out.
From the anticipation of going up the 90-foot ascent to the 85 feet descent and the 45 miles an hour, and take it from positive Gs to negative Gs, really has to be one of the most exciting wooden coasters I've ever been on.
Another top-rated wood coaster recently constructed at Big Chief in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, is Zeus.
Zeus is about 87 feet tall, lift hill, and the first drop's about 80 feet. goes down, goes straight back around the pond. It's an out and back coaster.
Unlike the Wildcat's circular twister design, Zeus uses a long, narrow track layout. Known in the coaster world as an out and back, this design maximizes speed and airtime. Screaming through the woods aboard Zeus, designed by custom coasters, is an exhilarating experience for any first-time passenger. But before anyone is allowed to feel the thrills, there is one rider who gets first dibs on the very first ride.
Fred is an automotive crash test dummy. He was designed and engineered for use in automotive crash testing. And he also makes a pretty good roller coaster rider. He's the same size as the average male, approximately 170 pounds or thereabouts, and 5'8", 5'9" tall. For roller coaster testing, we placed a sensor right here at the top of his neck, since the neck and the spinal area is the most common sort of injury that a roller coaster rider might experience.
In addition to the sensor in Fred's neck, other high-tech devices are mounted on the front of the coaster. They include a radar Doppler unit, which measures variations in coaster speed, and photocell sensors, which help to correlate all of the data recorded during the test run. When this information is downloaded and analyzed by computer, it gives a precise profile of the intensity and safety of the ride.
Looks like a pretty high-speed ride there.
Looks pretty good, yeah.
Right now we're engaging on the lift hill. It's going to be a great ride. We're going about 85 feet in the air right now.
While Nick's no dummy, his initial rides on Zeus merely confirmed what Fred and the computer first revealed, that Zeus, with speeds in excess of 60 miles an hour, numerous airtime events, and super smooth ride, has everything it takes to be a top 10 wild ride.
We're about 90 feet up in the air. We're about ready to go down our first drop. Here we go. Wow, there's a lot of airtime right there. There's the bunny hills. Here's more air. Going to the left. We're in the woods right now. We're on a big turn. It's really hard to talk. It's a wild ride. Now we're going down the stairs before you. There's a lot of airtime. We're on our last turn coming into the station. Here we go, brake run. What a great ride.
Another great ride can be found at Lakeside Amusement Park in Denver, Colorado. The Lakeside Cyclone has made the Grade A list of wild rides by combining the twisting sensations of the Wildcat with the exhilarating out and back journey of Zeus. But for a truly unique thrill, there's nothing like riding this high-speed hybrid at night in the dark.
Hi, I'm Brenda, and we're on the Lakeside Cyclone Coaster in Denver, Colorado. It's one of the world-famous wooden coasters. If you look around, there's a gorgeous view of the tower right behind us, and Lake Rhoda is out to our left. We're about ready to head down St. Hill. Get ready! Wow, that was great! Now I know why the coaster enthusiasts called this a classic coaster!
This graphic illustrates how the Cyclone combines a twister track layout with an out-and-back design.
We're headed down another great hill! One of the best features on this coaster is the banking on the inner circle!
Just past the halfway point, the Cyclone seamlessly transitions from a twister to an out and back.
This coaster was designed by Edward Vitale and built in 1940. It's a tremendous wooden coaster.
Ride fanatics the world over agree that from beginning to end, this 58-year-old marvel still thrills with the best of us.
We're heading into the station that still brakes manually. Hope you enjoy the ride.
Among the world's rarest wild rides is the Racer. This top 10 coaster was designed by John Miller and built in 1926 at the Kennywood Amusement Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is one of the last 3 continuous track racing coasters in the world. Continuous track coasters, like the Racer, use a single track that follows the same path twice and connects to itself at the station.
Hi, my name is Gary Baker. We're on the Racer at Kennywood Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I'm Bill Lincolnheimer, and I'm here on the Racer at Kennywood. I'm on the red train in the right-hand side. And over there on the left-hand side is a blue train with my friend Gary in the front seat.
And we're up going up the 40-foot lift hill. We're getting ready for our first drop. The red train is a little ahead of us. Here we go. All right. Got my buddy Bill on the front seat of the other car here. Let's see if we catch up to him.
When the Racer's trains pass each other, riders can actually reach out and touch someone, a Kennywood tradition for more than 70 years.
Here we go. See you later, Bill. Woo!
Yeah, we're gaining on him a little bit.
Hope he can maintain his lead.
Hey!
We have the inside. We're gaining on him.
Red train's coming back up again. Hoping we can catch up. Down a couple of quick gravel hops. Come on, let's go, moving.
Now we have the inside turn here, so we're going to stay ahead for now.
Woo! Red train has a big lead on us here. Yeah, coming to the final drop into the station, and it looks like we didn't win this one. Try again next time.
That looks like we got him beat.
It was fixed.
We will return.
For nearly a century, wild rides have stood as an example of America's passion for fun. But few realize that they are actually a European creation. The very first coasters were built in Russia around the 17th century, and later embraced by the French, who called them Russian mountains.
The French or Parisians adopted the Russian roller coaster by making it more sophisticated than the crude slides that were in Russia. They added an elaborate wheel system, but they seemed to disregard safety. If the car flew off the track and landed in the street below, that's your tough luck. But it didn't make any difference, because if the roller coaster got that reputation that it was dangerous, then the lines got much longer.
For decades, Europeans flocked to the elaborate and dangerous creations. But by the late 1800s, the coaster craze died out, and along with it, most of Europe's wild rides. But today, to the delight of many on the continent, roller coasters are making a comeback. In England, wild riders are hanging on for dear life as they meet Nemesis. This high-speed inverted steel coaster is the latest attraction at Alton Towers Amusement Park outside of London. At Pues EricXAventura Amusement Park in Barcelona, Spain, guests are screaming in tandem on Stampeda, Europe's only parallel racing coaster. But almost everyone agrees that the wildest ride in Europe these days is Tonnerre de Zeus. This wooden giant boasts an incredible 99-foot initial drop and speeds in excess of 60 miles an hour.
think adrenaline rushing through your veins is something international. So I can't explain it better than that.
Located outside of Paris at Parc Austerlitz, Tonnerre de Zeus, or Thunder of Zeus, is so named for the clamorous roar created by its cars as they scream along nearly 4,000 feet of track.
Here we go!
The coaster's unique L-shaped track layout and rare double helix twist have earned it a reputation as one of the best roller coasters in the world.
The perfect ride is a ride that goes very fast and you have to spend as much time off your seat, actually, as you can. Tonnerre de Zeus is extremely well engineered and it's not violent, it's not shaking. So it's my favorite wooden coaster in Europe.
Since its roaring debut in 1997, millions of passengers have felt the thunderous power of this wild ride.
I hope that, like since now people really love the ride, more parks in France are gonna catch the train and build more wooden coasters.
While a new generation of wild rides is springing up all over Europe, in the United States, many of our greatest coasters have been lost to neglect. Fires, floods, and the devastating swing of the Wrecker's Ball. But one of the best wild rides in the world not only managed to survive destruction, it actually helped to launch a nationwide coaster preservation movement. When the Rocket, designed by Herbert Schmeck, opened in 1948 at Playland Park in San Antonio, Texas, it was considered by many to be one of the greatest coasters in the world. But after 32 years, Playland closed, and the Rocket flew no more. Then in 1984, Dick Knoebel, owner of Knoebel's Amusement Park in Elysburg, Pennsylvania, bought the famous Texas coaster for pennies on the dollar.
When Dick Knoebel announced that he was going to move the Rocket from San Antonio to his park in Pennsylvania, a lot of people in the industry thought he was making a mistake, but in fact, he had a lot of foresight. He knew that he and his staff could restore it, and it turned into an absolutely great ride.
A year later, the Rocket was reborn as the Phoenix. And like the mythical bird for which it was named, it rose to even greater heights, earning accolades along with a coveted spot on Inside Track magazine's list of top 10 coasters.
It's not the longest, it's not the fastest, it's not the tallest, but it has all the elements to give you a great ride because it's got punch the whole ride through.
Since opening in 1985, the Phoenix has become one of the top attractions at its new home.
Hi, I'm Mark Wyatt. We're here at Knoebel's Amusement Resort in Elysburg, Pennsylvania. And we're getting ready to take a ride on the Phoenix roller coaster, a great wooden coaster right here next to the woods. Excellent ride, lots of hills, lots of good turns, plenty of speed. Good combination of all the best things you'd ever want on a coaster. Right now we're 78 feet high. We're getting ready to take a ride down the first drop. Here we go. Excellent. All right, now we're going to go right back through this hills right through there. Lots of airtime out of your seat. Now we're going down the same way we started. Double up, and then a double down again. The only one like it in the whole country. Now my favorite turn right here, real fast. Right back through the structure one more time. Lots of small hills, real fast. Right out of your seat on every hill. Excellent ride. Phoenix. I definitely think this would have been a tragedy if it had died in San Antonio. There are still a dozen roller coasters out there that are in abandoned amusement parks that should be saved by existing parks and brought back like this. So the Phoenix is a perfect name. This coaster was definitely saved from the wrecking ball.
Like the Phoenix, there is another classic wood coaster that has lived more than one life. It is the Comet, located at the Great Escape Amusement Park in Lake George, New York. And to many, this die-hard thrill machine is considered the #1 roller coaster in the entire world.
The Comet's the #1 coaster because it's the best out-and-back ride in existence. It really mixes curves, ups and downs, and it feels to me the fastest coaster in the world. At least it does today because it's been raining.
While most passengers prefer their coasters dry, there are a few die-hard enthusiasts who delight at blending the wet with the wild.
It's always better to ride it in the rain because the tracks are slick, so it really skitters along. The Comet, to me, is twice the thrill in the rain.
Since reopening in the spring of 1994, the Comet has thrilled thousands of riders, both wet and dry. But few of these enthusiastic passengers know the details of this magnificent coaster's past. In an earlier life, it was one of the most legendary wood rides of all times. The Crystal Beach Cyclone, built in 1927 at Crystal Beach in Ontario, Canada.
It was fiendish, monstrous. It had a nurse and a first aid station at the unloading platform. That's how bad they were. The trouble was, it was so frightening that people would come to watch rather than ride, so it led a short life.
By the fall of 1946, rising insurance costs and increasing maintenance woes closed the notorious thrill machine. But not forever. Within a year, the Crystal Beach Cyclone was transformed into an out-and-back coaster by ride designer Herbert Schmeck. It was rebuilt on the very same spot and renamed the Comet.
What he did was save the first hill and make the rest of it just up and down and out and back.
Crystal Beach Comet riders could face forward or backward. And while not as vicious as its predecessor, the Comet had something to offer former Cyclone fans as well as the uninitiated who thrilled to the ride's raw energy and speed. But 41 years later, the era of the Comet at Crystal Beach came to an end. The Comet was sold for $200,000, dismantled, and stored in a warehouse where it collected dust for nearly 5 years. But it would not die. In 1994, it was reassembled piece by piece and restored to its former glory. Several hundred miles away at the Great Escape Amusement Park in Lake George, New York.
The Comet was brought here because it was a classic roller coaster and still is a classic roller coaster. It's the only coaster that has been rebuilt 3 times and has been thrilling riders ever since.
improved Comet received rave reviews and in 1997 was ranked the #1 wooden roller coaster in the world, an award befitting its illustrious heritage.
A Great Escape saved what is a great roller coaster from Crystal Beach. I can understand the #1 rating because it is a #1 roller coaster, not just in the United States, but in the world. Oh, flat out best. Best roller coaster in the world.
We will Although most of today's top-rated wild rides are born of the same basic designs, there are a few notable exceptions. Rides that, while not traditional, are nonetheless just as wild. The Crazy Mouse at Dinosaur Beach in Wildwood, New Jersey, puts a new spin on a ride design made popular during the 1930s. Commonly referred to as wild or Mad Mouse coasters, these rides used intimate two-seater cars instead of trains to maneuver through hairpin turns. But it is one innovative twist that has Crazy Mouse riders reeling. A specially designed undercarriage spins riders 360 degrees as they careen along the track. This state-of-the-art design uses strategically placed sensors and trigger switches at various locations along the track to spin the car and add high-tech thrills to an age-old ride. While it can't boast having the longest, tallest, or fastest track, the Crazy Mouse, which opened in the summer of 1997, is earning raves from coaster enthusiasts for its creative design.
Hi, I'm Dave Catanoso, and we're here at Dinosaur Beach in Wildwood, New Jersey. We're here to ride the Crazy Mouse. The Crazy Mouse is the only spinning roller coaster in the U.S. Right now we're going up the lift hill. Got a great view of the beach. The lift hill is over 45 feet high, and we're just about at the top where the ride's going to get going. And that's where the fun begins.
What a view!
Here we go.
Oh, wow.
The neat part about the top of the ride is that there's really tight hairpin curves, and it kind of gives you the feeling that the cars are going to fly off the track. They're not, but it sure feels that way. There's about 6 or 8 turns up here that are really sharp, and they kind of throw you around pretty good. We're coming up on the first drop right now. Whoa! Now the second drop is a lot longer, but you're soon going to find out. Here we go! Whoa! Now this is where the ride really gets crazy. The car's coming up on a lock that releases, and those cars start to spin around on an axis, kind of like a teacup, but a lot faster. And of course, we're moving on the coaster around the same hairpin curve. Now there's 1,400 feet of track on this ride, so it's really long, and there's over 10 cars. So it's got a heck of a lot of people that can ride on it. Now this ride's never the same twice, because you're always spinning, you're always turning, you never know which way you're gonna go. Backwards down this drop, into this big bump. What a great ride.
It's fast, wet, and although technically not a coaster, it is definitely a wild ride. The Schlitterbahn Water Park near San Antonio, Texas, is home to Master Blaster, a 6-story high, 1,000-foot-long water coaster.
It's called a water coaster because we can go up and down. We can do a lot of the things you'll see at a typical theme park roller coaster. And this has never been available to the water park industry till we developed these rides.
The Master Blaster starts out at 62 feet above ground. So anyone that's maybe a little bit queasy with heights or anything like that is immediately going to get the knots in their stomach. They're not going to be sure they want to do this.
Here we go.
The Master Blaster is similar in a way to maybe a bobsled run because you're riding either one or two people in tandem. You're experiencing more of the turns, and you're a whole lot closer to the action, and because of that, it makes you feel like you're going faster than you actually are. And I guess from that aspect, it actually allows you to experience the thrill a little bit more.
The most thrilling aspect of the ride, and what sets Master Blaster apart from its predecessors, is that it actually moves riders uphill. By precisely directing thin sheets of water under extreme pressure, rafters are propelled up a 55-foot incline. But eventually, this water slows down and must be removed from the rafter's path. It is a process known as dewatering.
As the water moves uphill, it loses its energy and becomes a dead water, which needs to be vented. On a physics standpoint, the dewatering is an essential part of the ride in that it removes the water that is in the path. So if we don't take it out, it's going to disrupt the flow, and consequently the ride isn't going to work.
But work it does, and the success of Master Blaster at Schlitterbahn has other water parks following suit.
We are seeing new innovations in the water rides. I think that it's endless as to what we can see. But we're on for a very wet ride, and it's going to be a lot of fun thrills to come.
All of that was wet. Great ride. You got to do it.
Wildest adventures in the world. Busch Gardens Williamsburg and Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Adventure lives here.
From the Wisconsin Dells to the outskirts of Paris, there are dozens of wood and steel creations and modern marvels of high technology that have been built to delight and thrill us.
Here we go.
These roller coasters of every shape, size, and design all strive to be the best of the best. But the greatest coaster of all has never been ridden. Until now. Welcome aboard the world's ultimate wild ride. It begins with the 85-foot drop of Tonnerre de Zeus. Followed by the record-breaking loops of Riddler's Revenge. 56-degree high-speed banking turns of the Wildcat transition into the dizzying spins of Crazy Mouse. The one-of-a-kind double-up and double-down run of the Eternal Phoenix soars into the high-intensity and rapid succession stunts of Montu. The Comet's high-speed, flat turns rocket you straight into the 58-mile-per-hour dual Cobra roll of Alpengeist. The wet and wild splashes of Master Blaster scream into the home stretch of the high velocity and maximum airtime thrills of Zeus. And while this ultimate wild ride doesn't really exist, coaster designers the world over continue to push the limits of fun.
I think we're in a really good age of roller coasters right now. There are a lot of coasters being built every year. Here in North America, we have like 20 or 30 every single year now, and it's really coming into its own now in Europe and Japan and some other countries.
It's a man-made machine that really does nothing,
I mean, it puts you right back where you got on, but it's something that is universally enjoyed by all people. I mean, everybody's looking for something fun, for thrill, and roller coasters provide that.
And just as there have always been thrill seekers, there will forever be wild rides.
Tomorrow, the fun doesn't stop. Take a ride in some of America's best fun houses and hang on and strap in tight. More wild and extreme rides on Thrills, Chills, and Spills. Tomorrow, only on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.